Hello and welcome to the summary on Adobe Illustrator by Eduonics Technologies. I'm just doing some stuff in the background. It's everything we've learned, and so far, it's not everything. Obviously, that would take way too long. But everything that I'm doing, we go over. So if you skip to this video in the summary, then I wanted to show you what you can do with this program. And there's a lot. There's also a lot we didn't cover. So things like all the brush libraries. There's too much to go over, obviously, in the videos, so I told you to look at those individually, and per what you wanted, like if you needed some more brushes. They're kind of intuitive, how they're laid out, things like that. We went over pretty much everything else: image trace, graphic styles, gradients, things like flattener preview. You'll find those on the menu, and you should look them up because we didn't have time to go into everything, despite each one being about a 15-minute video. Couldn't go into everything. So I'm going to tell you there's a lot of plugins for Illustrator. We didn't go into those because those are independent third-party kind of things. And they're also made by Illustrator. And that would obviously, they're plugins that can do just about anything. So from adding extra context menus to just different tools that people have made and are for sale. And there's some that are free that you can download. You just look up Illustrator plugins for CS6, how to install them, and that kind of thing. But pretty much everything else we've gone through. So when you find an option that you're unfamiliar with, the best thing to do, I found, is just to search CS6 in the name of the option and type in Illustrator if you're not sure whether or not it's unique to Illustrator. CS6 pretty much tells Google, if you're searching Google or Bing, that you're looking for an Adobe product. And then when you type in the name of the command or the menu function, whatever, it'll bring that up. And so typically everything's laid out pretty simple and pretty easy to use. So just go ahead and everything that I'm doing here we went over. So go ahead and go through the videos on what you don't know, what you need to relearn. And as far as putting everything together, you just have to use the tool. And you have to tell yourself, what do I need to create? If I'm making a house, if I'm drawing a can, what do I need to create? For instance, a circle. You know a circle because you know it's a cylinder. And it gets a lot simpler once you realize that everything's made out of simple shapes if you're doing pure illustration with Illustrator. If you're using a Wacom, which I'm using right now, it's advisable whenever you're doing shapes like this to use a mouse. I'm not using it. I'm being kind of lazy, but whenever you're drawing, obviously you want to use your Wacom. So I go over a lot of things that are unique too, that aren't covered in other videos, aren't covered by other people, like using undo. We've created 3 shapes back here, and we merged them because we wanted them to be merged. And while I could have done this a bunch of different ways, I prefer to use undo. And we went over things like warp. So if you want to put a label on something, you would just, the number of things you do, make with mesh, make with warp. Aside from that, just keep in mind whatever you're making with this tool is infinitely scalable and infinitely sizable. And aside from me not being able to create anything and talk at the same time, just practice, have fun, enjoy what you're doing. It's the most important thing, obviously. Some of you might find out that whatever it is that you're using Illustrator for isn't right for you. Some of you might think that it isn't because of how challenging it is, and it's important to know the difference. Because it gets less challenging, it gets a lot easier. And all the answers that you need to use Illustrator are in these tutorials. So they're also out there on the World Wide Web. So like I said, practice, have fun, and make some beautiful things. And thanks for watching all these videos.